Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Paranormal, and in today's video, we're looking at some photos that look normal from the outside, but in reality, they are much darker when you see the history behind them. Here are 3 photos with disturbing backstories.
Number 1. House Party Killer.
At first looks, the photo shows 2 men standing next to each other taking a selfie to celebrate a house party. The disturbing part about this photo is the fact that the man holding the cup is none other than Tyler Hadley. Tyler J. Hadley was born on December 16th, 1993. He was 17 years old at the time of the taking of this photo. Here's a quick background about him. During his teenage years, Tyler began skipping school and taking illegal substances. On July 16th, 2011, in Port St. Lucie, Florida, Blake Hadley, who was 54, and Mary Jo Hadley, who was 47, would be at home when, after Tyler's parents returned home that day, he hid their phones and locked their black Labrador, who he suspected would defend his parents, in a closet. Shortly before 5 p.m. on the evening of July 16th, 2011, Tyler took 3 pills of ecstasy and then stood behind his mother, Mary Jo, as she worked on her computer in the family room. He attacked his mother with a claw hammer. Hearing the screams, his father rushed out of the bedroom to see what was happening. His father, Blake Hadley, saw Tyler attacking his mother, and he exclaimed, quote, "Why?" Tyler replied, "Why the fuck not?" before fatally attacking his father with the hammer. After killing them both, he dragged their bodies into the master bedroom and spent 3 hours cleaning up the blood and throwing household items and furniture on top of their bodies. After that, Tyler had first invited people to his party at around 12:15 p.m. On the day of the murders, hours before he murdered his parents, he funded the party with his parents' credit cards. He was spotted by an ATM when his photo was taken as he pulled money out of the accounts. Now, granted, I could not find the photo for this, but it's somewhere. And then picked up some friends. Somewhat around 60 people attended the party that night, and several people are alleged to have noticed the smell of dead bodies. During the party, Tyler Hadley apparently told several people about what he had done. Tyler went on a walk with a close friend and confessed the crime he had committed. After returning to the party, the friend discovered the bodies of both Blake and Mary Jo Hadley in the master bedroom. He did not leave the party immediately, but spent 45 minutes with Tyler and later took a selfie with him. And 4 hours later, the friend left the party and called a local crime hotline to report the murders. News of the crime was then spread by word of mouth. Hadley was arrested earlier the next morning, and in 2014, Tyler Hadley was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the 2011 murders of his parents, Blake and Mary Jo Hadley.
Number 2. James Bulger.
In this photo, you can see CCTV footage of people walking around the New Strand shopping center in Bootle on the 12th of February, 1993. But if you look real closely, you can see a taller child who is holding a younger one's hand. These would be both 2-year-old boy James Patrick Bulger and 10-year-old John Venables. On the 12th of February, 1993, in Merseyside, England, 2 10-year-old boys, Robert Thompson and John Venables, abducted, tortured, and murdered a 2-year-old boy, who would be James Patrick Bulger. Thompson and Venables led Bulger away from the New Strand shopping center in Bootle, where Bulger was visiting shops with his mother at the time. His mutilated body was found on a railway line 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers away in Walton, Liverpool. 2 days later, Thompson and Venables were found guilty of abduction and murder on the 24th of November, making them the youngest convicted murderers in modern British history. They were sentenced to indefinite detention at Her Majesty's pleasure and remained in custody until a parole board decision in June 2001 recommended their release on a life license at age 18. Venables was sent to prison in 2010 for possessing CP images on his computer and was released on parole again in 2013. But in November 2017, he was again sent to prison for again possessing CP images on his computer. His 2023 appeals for parole were rejected.
Number 3. Killer Brother.
Thomas Bartlett Bart Whitaker was born on December 31st, 1979, to Father Kent, who was a controller of a construction company, and Mother Patricia, who goes by Trish, who worked as an elementary school teacher. Bart Whitaker attended Clements High School, where in 1997, as a 17-year-old, he received a criminal conviction for a series of 7 burglaries that he had meticulously planned, leading other young friends in the spree. Whitaker began attending Baylor University in 2001, transferring from the Sam Houston State University, or SHSU, where he was thought by parents to be in attendance in late 2003. And from which he was expected to graduate. But what they didn't know is he had lied to his parents about his continued status in college. Varying reports had him dropping out of SHSU months before, or being present there as a freshman on academic probation. His parents funded his academic pursuits. In addition, they purchased a lakeside townhouse in Willis, Texas, for his use, and a $4,000 Rolex watch was given to him as a college graduation present before the murders. On December 10, 2003, Bart had falsely told his parents that he was graduating from SHSU. The family drove to the nearby Papaduex restaurant in Stafford for a celebratory dinner. Whitaker had enlisted 2 individuals to carry out the shootings. Chris Brashear, who was the shooter, and Stephen Champagne, who was Brashear's getaway driver. Brashear, dressed in black, including a ski mask, he then entered the Whitaker family home, took Bart's brother Kevin's gun and ammunition from a locked box in his room, and staged a burglary, and then waited near the front door for the Whitaker family to return home. Upon returning home, Bart said that he needed to collect his cell phone from his parked Yukon, knowing that Brashear was armed and waiting inside to kill his family. Kevin entered the family home first and reportedly smiled when he saw the now masked Brashear. Brashear shot Kevin once through his chest and Kevin fell to the floor. Patricia was then also shot in the chest, also falling to the floor. Kent rushed in and was shot in the shoulder with the bullet shattering his humerus. Bart had then, at that time, ran inside and staged a struggle with Brashear, getting shot in his left arm to divert any suspicion. Brashear then exited through the Whitaker's back door and jumped over the fence into the rear neighbor's yard. The Whitaker's neighbor, Cliff Stanley, was the first to arrive on the scene. He could see that Kevin was dead, but Patricia was still alive at the time. But Trish died shortly after the start of her airlift by life flight to Memorial Hermann Hospital. Bart's father, Kent, had survived. Bart told first responders that he thought the gunman was black in order to divert any suspicion away from Brashear. Whitaker left for Mexico in June 2004. He told his father he was going to a club and never returned. Using around $3,000 to persuade an acquaintance to assist him, he assumed the name Rudy Rios and found work in a furniture shop in, I'm going to butcher this name, Cerrillo, Mexico. There, he developed a relationship with a woman and concocted a story of serving in Afghanistan to explain his gunshot wound. He lived there under the false name for over a year, but on September 15, 2005, a capital murder warrant was issued against Whitaker. The acquaintance who had assisted Whitaker to flee became aware of reward money that had been offered for his arrest and communicated Whitaker's whereabouts to the police. Thomas Bartlett Whitaker was sentenced to death on March 8, 2007 for orchestrating the 2003 murder of his family. On February 22nd, 2018, shortly before his scheduled execution, Texas Governor Greg Abbott commuted his sentence to a life in prison without parole.